Okay, well, I'm going to start. It's 1 o'clock. And everybody, thank you very, very much for coming in today. And I just want to get to my notes, make sure I'm on the right page, because that is important. Okay, so I want to welcome everyone to our July 9th, 2024 presentation of Senior Voices, where we, in concert with the Ridgefield Library, providing us this venue every single month, and thank you, Brenda. We hold our Senior Voices, and many of you are familiar, and I appreciate that you're here. So today, I wanted to tell you briefly that, and remind you that we do this for you, okay? Always for you, the senior community. And I want to thank, again, everyone for coming to see us today and listen to us. So my name is Patty Yaffa. I am the Vice Chair of the Commission on Aging. And with us today, we have additional fellow commissioners. I'll start with Joe Ternurlo in the back. I'm sure many of you know him. There, hi, Joe. He is our chairman. And we also have in the audience, we have Carmen Martin. She is a commissioner. And Clem, I'm going to be consistent. Clem, whose last name I always botch up, Salibi. Salibi is our commissioner. And what usually another person who is here, but I can give her recognition anyway, because our two flyers up here, our two flyers on the table, which are beautifully created, are always done by Lisa Ternurlo, who is Joe's wife. And she is here always in spirit. She had a conflict today. So the other thing I would like to share with you is that, okay, so the other thing is that news. So what's new in the world of the Commission on Aging? Well, so we don't get not talking about everything that is important. There are so many things. One, I wanted you to know that July 21st, we are celebrating, we being the town of Ridgefield, National Ice Cream Day, which could be good today, in fact. But Deborah Ann's Sweet Shop is providing one free scoop of ice cream to every senior that presents the gold card. So I encourage you to go not only have some nice free ice cream, but support our local store. Okay. The other thing I wanted to tell you is to make sure you sign into on the website, richfieldct.gov. That is our homepage for our town website. And on it, there is a tab appropriately called Spotlight on Seniors. You click on that and you will find all things relative to seniors that we can think of, such as the Directory of Senior Services that we put together, the Senior Central Directories on the back. I know many of you have it. We talk about our schedules for both the Senior Voices and our commission meetings, which are public, open to the public, and the items that we are working on, such as transportation, the food issue in town, so many things, but I want you to go online and look at them. Now, the other thing, which is really very exciting, we've mentioned it before, we are holding next spring a Senior Spectacular Expo. Look at all the interested faces. I love it. Okay, we are going to have a venue that is going to have sponsors showing up. We're going to have exhibitors. We're going to have raffles. We're going to have some music. We're going to have some food. We're going to have some beverages. It is going to be taking place on a Saturday, mostly the whole day. It's going to be wonderful. You're going to have questions. It's going to cover health services, assisted living, anything relative to seniors and anything you can think of. And I'm not going to give away all of the surprises because there are too many to say in one breath, okay? But we will keep advertising this every month until it happens. So I encourage you to come, okay? Now, the other thing is next Senior Voices, pardon me, in August, we may be taking a break, which is fine. I encourage you to keep checking the Ridgefield Library, the Hamlet Hub, Ridgefield Press, and it'll be a notification there if indeed we are having one. But everyone deserves a break. So it may be August, but we're due to come back again in September. I'm not going to announce yet who is speaking then because it's not 100% confirmed. It's 99%. So more to come on that. Now, for what you've all been here waiting for is our featured event. And I wrote some nice things, so I'm going to find what I wrote. Okay, so we are very, very fortunate to have a very exclusive panel of people from the Ridgefield Library presenting to us. And the reason we have 4 people presenting is because there is so much information to cover, all pertaining to seniors. And I had no idea when I went and just sat with these ladies initially. I was just sitting there with my mouth open. You know, you do this, you do that. And I'll share that since that meeting, I now have a library card. I even have the app. I've even used the app, and I have used the library. So I'm going to just announce who the 4 women are. They will come up individually. I will not steal their thunder. We're going to start off with Brenda McKinley, who is our library director, followed by Rita Covelli, who is the head of adult services, followed by Christie Mitchell, who is a senior adult services librarian, followed by Kathy Pickle, technology innovation librarian. So thank you, everybody. And we're going to start with Brenda. Yeah. They're Brenda.
Thank you. Thank you, Patty. And everyone on the Commission on Aging, especially those that she mentioned, Joe and Carmen, Lisa and Clem. Thank you. For working so hard on putting the series together. We're thrilled, and we're thrilled with the response that the series has been getting. I'm going to start, and I'm going to go kind of quickly so that we get to the meat of it, which is what these other ladies will be presenting. But I was going to just do a little bit of background history on the library, talk a little bit about the library. And again, I'll apologize in advance. I will move quickly, but I am always happy to have conversations with anyone who has more questions about the library, about how we operate, which is a little bit different here in Ridgefield, but I will cover that. So looking at, oops. Hello.
Thank you for not having me do that.
Oh, well, let me see.
anything on
Why
the
is
screen,
my
but-
slide has kind of. All right, I'm gonna do a quick stop share and restart our slideshow here. So if you can just bear with me for a second. Let's do that again.
And it's always good, if I may add, to be reminded of what our library consists of, because it's not just the library. It is so much more, and even its beginnings entailed so much more. Does that sound right?
Yes, but I'm not sure why my slideshow was working a second ago. This is technology for you people. Live and in person, but we'll make this work. Hold on. Let me get out of all of this, I think. There we go. Thanks for bearing with me.
And this is so more people could come in.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. And let's start from the beginning.
Oh, Tony's here. You better come in.
That looks better. Okay,
Good.
excellent. We are working. Okay, so a little bit of a history of Ridgefield Library. As we know, we have a very long and rich history here in Ridgefield, and the very first library was back in 1795. That's 95, with about 150 volumes of books. By 1871, we had what was called a subscription library, where the members actually paid a little bit, maybe, you know, at that time, I don't even want to speculate. Maybe it was $1 a year or something to be able to use the collection, very limited hours. By 1883, the library was housed in a building, Phineas Lounsbury, names that are familiar to us here in town, on Bailey Avenue and then on Governor Street. At that time, there was the board of directors. One of those members, James Morris, purchased the land on this corner, 472 Main Street. It used to be the Smith Tavern. So that was purchased in 1900, and they started building the actual library. The beautiful Morris building, our historic front section of the library, opened in 1903. The library itself was chartered by the state of Connecticut as an association library in 1901. So who were James and Elizabeth Morris? You'll notice on the front of our library, it's the E.W. Morris Memorial Building. James was a New York businessman. They lived in the city, but of course, summered, as so many others did here in Ridgefield. He was the treasurer of the Ridgefield Library Association Board. Elizabeth had passed in 1899. And when this land was purchased, of course, he had it dedicated in her name. It was sold, turned over to the association for $1 on June 15th, 1903. We just celebrated last year, 120 years of that beautiful Morris building here on Main Street. And just for you to get a little bit of an idea, here's a picture of an unidentified little boy. This is the grand prize, if anybody knows, from 1903 in front of the building. And this next one is one of my favorites, which shows a little bit of the whole corner. And you can see the beautiful pathways behind the building. It's about 3,500 square feet. And that was a library for many, many years. Because we were an association library, the association ran the library. It was the public library for the town. And it wasn't until 1968 that the town began contributing towards the library's operation. And we're called in the state of Connecticut as the principal public library for the town, even though we are a 501c3 association library. In the 80s, there were a number of additions, and many of you here who are longtime Ridgefielders will remember the old building. It went from 7,200 square feet, one addition, and then another addition, bringing you up to 24,000 square feet. The first public computers in 1997 and the first Wi-Fi in 2005. So back in the 2010 or so, we did a capital campaign, the association, which raised $15 million privately for the beautiful addition that we're sitting in today. The town contributed $5 million. There was a referendum on that part of it. The library now stands at 44,000 square feet. And opened in April of 2014. And we just celebrated 10 years, if you can believe it, since the addition. It's really amazing how quickly time goes. So I mentioned we are a 501c nonprofit association library. That means we're not a town department. We are not town employees, but we're employees of the association. This property, the grounds, and the building are owned by the association and not the town of Ridgefield. However, we receive generous support from the town, about 70% of our operating budget. For the current fiscal year, that's about $2.35 million from the town. That represents about 1.4% of the town budget, about $93 or $94 per capita. The other 30% of our budget, which is a significant amount, about $945,000, we close that funding gap in numerous ways. We do fundraising. You will no doubt get those annual appeals and hear about our gala and stuff. To close the gap, we have a small endowment that we get some funding from and minimal operational income. But we also, in addition to our operating budget, we seek many grants. We have many restricted funds of support, most notably of which is our absolutely amazing Friends of the Ridgefield Library. They are a separate 501c3 and they do the tremendous book sales and work so hard around the year to enable the library to do some of our special programming, such as the folk concerts, and they support our summer reading program. A little bit more on the numbers before I wrap up my portion. Last year, nearly 221,000 folks walked through our front doors. That's 221,000 for a town of 25,000. We circulated about 326,000 items. So I've been a librarian for some 30 years. And when I got my degree 30 years ago, people said, is anyone going to use a library anymore? And here I am 30 years later, people are using the library, and that circulation number is up significantly from last year. About 30,000 folks attended the 1,300 programs that we put on last year for all ages. And I mentioned that we first got Wi-Fi back in 2005. We had about 91,000 Wi-Fi sessions last year, which our fiscal year just closed on June 30th. So another wonderful thing, and Patty and I were just talking about this, that is very enriching for us at the library, is we partner with about 130 local organizations. It is just amazing. Ridgefield is a wonderful community. There's so many great organizations. We can really focus on some important topics: early literacy, parenting, mental health, economic development, the environment, civic engagement, lifelong learning. That is a key thing, and you'll hear a lot about lifelong learning opportunities. This is teeny tiny print. You do not need to read it, but the reason I wanted to include this was to let you know we do work from a strategic plan. Our mission, the Ridgefield Library anticipates and meets the evolving needs of our community. We are an essential partner and the place where people go to discover, question, learn, and connect. The values that are in our strategic plan, that we're a trusted community leader and partner, that we're an accessible and an inclusive resource for all, and that we respect and value one another in a safe and welcoming environment. Those values truly guide our work every day, as do the key objectives to engage our community, cultivate a highly motivated professional staff, and ensure the financial and operating sustainability of our library. As I said, we are an association library. We are responsible for this incredible resource and we take it really seriously. In fall of 2024, we will be reaching out to our community. It is time for us to update our strategic plan, and we are Ridgefield's library. We only need and want and should be Ridgefield's library. So in order to do that, we need to know, what does Ridgefield need? So we'll be reaching out to get people's thoughts and opinions on that. Not necessarily what do you think the library should be doing, but what do you think and what do you see as some of the needs in our town? And then as a library, we work to make sure we're responding specifically to that. So I apologize for moving so quickly. We've got a lot to cover, but we'll save some time for questions. And as I said, I am always happy to have a conversation with anyone. So I'm going to turn it over to Rita.
Yeah.
All right, Rita. I advanced you so you can do there. And leave this or
I'm going to go away from that.
oh,
How about here? If I can go over there?
Yeah.
I don't want to block anyone. Thanks, Joe. Okay,
All right.
thank you. Yeah, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Have my water if you want.
No, I'm.
If you fall, I'll catch you.
Okay. Hello,
Morning.
welcome. My name is Rita. You want me to stand here? Move the. I know I'm short. Nobody can see me. Okay. Welcome. My name is Rita Covelli. I'm the head of adult services. So I'm going to start very briefly by letting you know that adult services as a department actually comprises of 4 different parts. One you may be familiar with, we do adult programs, and that is headed by our lovely Lucy Hanley, who is not here today. We have a teen department that also falls under the umbrella of adult services, and we have the adult service desk, and we have the technology and innovation department, where we have our makerspace, our STEAM corner, and where we give classes on, I guess, technology, computer-based issues. So the adult service desk, as I hopefully you all know, you've been to the upper level of the library. There's the desk right in the center. And the goal, obviously, of adult services is to connect you, whether you're a child, an adult, a senior, with the information, with whatever it is that you need. To that end, we have books, we have other kinds of resources and databases, we have computers, we have computer help, we have copies, we have printing, we do so many things at the desk. And all the librarians, today I have our senior librarian, Christie Mitchell, here, who'll talk more about that desk and what they do there. But all of our librarians are, well, besides being wonderful people, they're very, very talented at finding the information that you need. It may be that we're sending you elsewhere, we're connecting you with whatever it is, if it's in-house help or if it's information of where you need to go for your answers. So some of the services you may not be aware of that we have up in adult services is we have a notary, we have several notaries actually. So if you need, there are some limitations. There are notary services, obviously, in town hall, but we have notaries that are here in the evening, that are here on weekends, and we pretty much follow their guidelines with what kinds of things we can notarize, and you can always give us a call. all of the services and things I'm talking about today and that we'll be talking about, we have brochures and information in the back. So if there's something in particular that interests you, there's the emails or the telephone number to call so that you can get your questions answered and we can connect you with that. So we also have passport services. Sometimes you need a notary for your passport services. We do proctoring, and proctoring, I know everyone thinks it's always for young people, but there are a lot of job-centric exams and advancement that require proctors now, largely because so many things are going online. So there are a lot of different reasons that you may need to have a supervised session in the study room, and we will arrange that for you. We have Book a Librarian. So we call Book a Librarian. Basically, you have a question that either hasn't been answered or can't be answered in a classroom format. And you give us a call and we try to evaluate what your question is, what information you need, what we need to provide to answer that. And you will have a one-on-one appointment with one of the librarians to walk you through whatever it is that you need. We have study rooms, of course, and study rooms can be single use or can be groups. I know sometimes the Commission on Aging, they've used the study rooms for meetings. When we offer our Medicare Choices sign up, we use the study room sometimes for the appointments. So the study rooms are very, very widely used and they can be reserved either by phone or online. We have a lot of recreational activities. Maybe you did, or maybe you didn't know. We have many, many different kinds of classes here. We have chair yoga, rose and movement. We offer various art classes. We have the Ridgefield Folk Concert Series once a month. We have nine different book groups. And this summer, we're trying out a new one that apparently is all the rage. It's basically a book club where you don't discuss a book. It is silent, so it's called a silent book club. So basically everybody comes together to read whatever they want to read for an hour, and then sometimes they talk about it and they just want to socialize. So it's a little bit different, but we've had multiple requests for that. So we're curious to see who comes. We have art talks, which we always have world-renowned. We're setting up the schedule for the upcoming series of art talks. I think the first one is maybe September, October. It starts in the fall, and where we have guest speakers, and we partner with the Aldrich and the Guild of Artists. There we go, to create the list. As you know, we have the art gallery down here. Once a month, we have different artists here that are usually local artists that can display their work, and anyone is welcome. So if you have any budding artists here, I encourage you to get some information, and they can be photographs, they can be things to hang, things to display. Every fall, we do a scholarly series. So the scholarly series is a series of talks, informational, sometimes it's around a book. It's basically an upper level innovative programming session on a theme. So it's not out yet, so I'm not going to tell you about it yet because Lucy is deep into the work of planning it. But as soon as that happens, last year we did one on artificial intelligence. We started in the summer with a few classes. We had a lot of interest and in all different age groups to trying to understand what the conversation was around ChatGPT and artificial intelligence in general. It's an important topic, I think, also for seniors because of all the security issues that are related to that. So there's a lot of information that applies to all ages where we'll talk about how to identify something that a person maybe wrote as compared to something that was automatically generated and is trying to get information from you too. So, and as Brenda mentioned, we partner with many groups. These are just a few that we partner with that specifically have senior programs that we have here. We have our tax assistance. We have the Medicare, the choices, the sign up that we do with social services. RB&A comes frequently with different kinds of programs on all different kinds of topics. And we're partnering now on a newer one with the Alzheimer's Association. And we have just started adding, we have a cognitive change area up on the second floor. And we just started adding these kits that are, they're called, it's part of like a memory cafe. They're called Stay Sharp Kits. And they have games and puzzles and things, and they're really just memory aids. They're just, some of them are old time things, some of them are John Wayne bingo, some of them are all different kinds of fun types of activities that can be done in a group and whatnot. And we have a whole bunch of them that'll be displayed upstairs. And I don't know, we have so many more things this summer. We have, we have our summer reading for all ages. Some people go to book groups, but they don't participate in our summer reading. This year, we're doing something different. So if you don't like the online log, this year we created a little journal, which gives you a suggestion every week of a type of book to read, what the programs are in the technology center, and what the adult programs are that week. And you get stickers. And then when you turn this back in at the desk, we have different raffles that you can win just for coming to the library, which many of you already do. So thought I would make a little plug. There's a little flyer about that in the back. So as I said, the adult service department encompasses many different areas. I was giving you a general view. I'm now going to pass it off to my senior adult services librarian, Christie Mitchell, who is going to talk more specifically about things there at the desk. And then afterwards, Kathy Pickle, who is our technology innovation librarian, will discuss what happens in her area of the floor. Thank you. I go up the stairs. Okay, welcome. So we are going to take a visual tour of the adult services, and along the way, we'll talk about resources and things that we have. So let's get started. This is our new, one of the things we mostly do is books. So we have our new nonfiction books separated out from regular books so that people who just want the new things can come and take a look. At the end of this row of new nonfiction books, we have added cognitive change resources. That's resources to help people who may be facing cognitive change, the mind diet, caregivers, and there's a brand new book called Reversing Alzheimer's that I've spoke to someone who read it, and it's getting excellent reviews with good tips in it. And of course, Rita's memory care kits are going to be right at the end of our nonfiction bookcase. We also have new fiction, and new audio is now added along with new fiction books. And I've noted our Acorn app that Patty has downloaded and used. I have the Acorn app. I highly recommend that all of you go to your app store and look for Acorn Catalog. It's part of Bibliomation. Bibliomation is the group of libraries we belong to. And I use the Acorn app regularly. If I'm listening to a TV show or a friend recommends a book, I can look up to see if the book is in the library and I can place a hold on it. It lets me know what books I have checked out, and I can renew books. It also has information on all of our services, our study room guides, our museum passes, and our digital books. So it's a very, very useful app to have with you. Plus, you can put your library barcode in the app, so you don't need to pull your card out when you want to check out books here at the Ridgefield Library. The app will do it. Audiobooks. So audiobooks are playaways and books on CDs. I think you know the CD, but a playaway is a little handheld unit that you plug in some headphones with, and you just walk around with the little unit and listen to the book. We also have platforms for digital books. Blackstone is one of our newer platforms, and it's audio books only. The others that you might be more familiar with, Libby, Hoopla, and the Palace Project, you can have ebooks, read a book on a phone, an iPad, tablet, or a computer. So it's ebooks, audiobooks, and in some cases,
even movies, DVDs. Hoopla has music as well. The Book Club Corner. This is a wonderful little corner section of adult services. If you are looking, if you're in a hurry and you just need a good book that's recommended, it's here. We also have multiple copies of these books for any book group to take out multiple copies of, but also any individual that just wants a good quality book, fiction or nonfiction, should stop here and take a look. It's a quick way to find some recommended good quality books. And across the aisle is all of our flyers on our book groups with many of the times the listing of the book that they will be discussing and the date of the meeting. So we hope you can get involved in some of our book groups. Medical reference. This section is to help with any of your medical needs. And my favorite two books are the 5-minute clinical consult that doctors and nurses actually use. It's a 2-page spread covering all aspects of a certain disease or condition. It talks about a definition, how to treat it, the best treatments, the outcomes, and some clinical pearls, like words of wisdom of how this condition is treated. We also have my second favorite book is a nursing 2024, a drug handbook. So if you have any questions about any drugs, that information would be in that book. We also have Mayo Clinic, health guides, encyclopedias, and more. And for online searching, we recommend, if you need any information online, to go to the trusted source, Medline Plus. Ridgefield, Connecticut History and Genealogy. We are very fortunate to have a wonderful Ridgefield history collection and a Connecticut history collection. And it's been expanded very recently thanks to our local historian, Jack Sanders. He was also the former editor of the Ridgefield Press. He has written many books and put them together, published them on his own of all his historic knowledge of our town. Some of his popular books are Ridgefield Names. It's a very thick book. It's the names of people and places and anything about Ridgefield. He's written the 5 Village Walks, which is a classic, walking around Main Street, The Hidden History of Ridgefield, and Ridgefield Celebrities, just to name a few. For genealogy, we have a genealogy brochure that lives on the shelf with the books. The brochure gives recommended books, recommended Connecticut genealogy resources, and our online resources, which are Ancestry. Of course, I'm sure you've heard of Ancestry.com and MyHeritage. And we also have American Ancestors, a third database that's put out by the New England Historic Genealogical Society in Boston. Travel. So we have travel photo books, travel planning books, and of course, all the standard travel guides. I'm sure you're all familiar with Fodor's, Lonely Planet, Frommer's, Rick Steves. And our online tip for travel is all of those publishers have a website and provide lots of free travel information on their website. So if you can't get to the library, you just need to look something up quickly, we recommend checking those publishers' websites. Another section of our travel collection is travel writing, which is perfect for this time of year. It's armchair travel. These are books that are diaries of people's experiences, and they transform you to another place in the comfort of your own home. Some examples that you're probably familiar with are A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson, Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert, A Year in Provence by Peter Mayle, and Blue Highways by William Least Heatmoon, about small back roads across the United States. We are going to talk about the reading room, which is in the Morris building that Brenda described for us, and the wonderful history behind it. In our wonderful reading room, we have magazines and newspapers, and we find that many of our patrons love to just come and sit in this historical, beautiful reading room and open up, the newspapers or a magazine. We get the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, USA Today, of course, the Danbury News Times and the Ridgefield Press. Across from the magazines on the other side of the room is our Ridgefield Creators Collection. That's our local authors, but we call it Ridgefield Creators. And we have amazing people from Ridgefield. Just to name a few people you may have heard of: Ira Jo Fisher, Jack Sanders, who I mentioned with Ridgefield History, Rich Cohen, Mark Salzman. Those are some locals, and maybe some people who are very famous you might not realize. Alvin Toffler, who wrote Future Shock and Third Wave, Howard Fast, a novelist, Eugene O'Neill, the Nobel Prize-winning playwright, Brad Parks, Richard Scarry for children's books, and of course, Maurice Sendak. Our public computers and our copying is right by the adult services desk. We are here to make sure you get whatever you need online. We will help you. We will help you with printing. Most people don't have printers at home, and we try to teach you how to be self-serving and use the printers, but if you need help, we will walk you through it and do it with you. We have a new coin-operated copier and printer. If you don't have coins or need change, we will provide all of that for you. Online database. So we have Pronunciator, which is online language learning. If you'd are interested in learning a language, this is the place. It has 80+ languages, and there's courses from beginner to advanced and a travel prep course as well. LinkedIn Learning is a video, you learn by taking video courses. So these are vetted, high quality courses you can take. The topics are usually business, which covers, management topics, job interviewing, but also software like Word and Excel. It also covers creative professions like photography and web design, and technology like AI, and of course, cybersecurity. Foundation Directory Online is for finding grants. If you work with a nonprofit organization or your local church and you are interested in grants, this is the database. I recommend that you book a librarian and get some one-on-one help, but we will help you if you walk in as well. The Foundation Directory Online is provided by Candid, a wonderful information, and they have a wealth of information on their website as well. MyHeritage, we talked about, is the genealogical website. It's a competitor to Ancestry. So Ancestry and MyHeritage do the same thing, and a lot of their databases are the same, but some are different. MyHeritage is based in Israel and tends to have a tiny bit more worldwide documents and less, than Ancestry. But the best advantage of MyHeritage is you can research it at home. Ancestry, by their contract, is only available in the library on our public computers. The next database is Novelist Plus. That is if you are looking for a book recommendation. If you read a great book like The Women by Kristen Hanna and you want to find something similar, you can plug in that author and title. It will tell you authors that write similar to Kristen Hanna. And if you put in The Women, it will give you books that might be similar. It might be another book about Vietnam War. It might be a book about women in war, or nurses, and so that can help you, expand your reading list and find good quality books. Fiero Code, that's our coding database, so you can learn to code. We have consumer reports where you can, it's the Consumer Reports website. You can look up any product you're interested in purchasing and get their recommendations. Job Now, if you are looking for a job, if one of your family members are looking for a job, it has resume review. It will review your resume and send it back to you in 24 hours. There's an interview prep section of that database and a career coach who will coach you. So those are things to take advantage of for free. And Morningstar is our investment database. So you can go through and invest and look at different funds. We also have, besides these listed here, we've got your classic magazine and newspaper databases. If you're interested in researching anything, we will help you with that. We have America's News by Newsbank, which has local newspapers all across the country, including the Danbury News Times and the Ridgefield Press. You are able to search on that America's News database. From the Ridgefield Press is on there from 2003 to the present. We also provide access to the New York Times digital copy. So there's really not a need to have your own New York Times digital subscription. We have these codes you redeem for 72-hour access, and it's like it's your own New York Times online subscription. There are brochures and handouts in the back over all of this that we talked about. Feel free to pick anything up. And again, feel free to make an appointment with me. I'd be more than happy to go over all of our resources with you specifically. And now I'm going to hand it over to Kathy Pickle to talk about the technology programs.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Kathy Pickle. I am the Technology Innovation Librarian. I'm going to give you more information because, we haven't given you enough yet. So I run the Donofrio Family Technology Center, which also includes our makerspace, which is called the STEAM Corner. So I'll be talking about both of those today. So we offer a variety of monthly programs. One of the most popular ones are computer classes. We get a grant from the Paul and Joanna LASIK Fund, and they support these classes. And the classes are specifically geared towards seniors. We do open them to everyone, but a lot of the classes, that is the age group we're reaching. Our presenter who does a lot of the classes, Mike Ingber, some of you might have taken classes with him. He has his own fan club at the library because he's great. He teaches everything from computer basics. He's actually going to be teaching a 2-part online safety with computers next Thursday and the following Thursday. He does Microsoft, Excel, Publisher, Gmail, Google Drive, pretty much any technology class that you can think of. We have probably done a topic on it. We also always encourage, and I will encourage you now to, if you have any technology topics that we haven't done before or that you're interested in, please feel free to always email me. I try to do classes geared towards what everyone in Ridgefield wants. So input is always important for me. We also do cell phone and tablet classes. Once again, that is provided through a grant, and we have a presenter, Phyllis Garcia, who does our iPhone, iPad classes. She is online, but that means we can open it up to as many people as who wants to join. We actually have an iPad class right after this at 3 o'clock on Zoom. And they include topics such as, settings, apps, camera use. She just did one last month on using your iPhone to travel, like having, plane tickets in there, using the map and navigation. So those are really great classes. And if you're not an iPhone user, we have started offering some Android classes as well. Mike Ingber has started doing them, and those are great because a lot of places don't offer Android classes because they're a little more difficult than iPhones to offer to everyone. So we've been doing some of those in great turnout. So definitely look for those. We also offer some social media classes. We've done ones on Facebook and Instagram, ones on LinkedIn. So if those are any topics you're interested, definitely let us know. We've done a little bit less because a lot of people have seemed to kind of gotten into the Facebook group if that's what they use. But if there's anything you guys are interested about, like I said, just let me know. And then, as Christie mentioned, we have a lot of databases. We do classes on those, periodically. We're going to be doing one tomorrow. Actually, I will be teaching it, and it's about all of our ebook resources. So Hoopla, Libby, and Blackstone Audio. So I kind of go over the different apps and kind of go through them. We do a monthly Faro code program, which is learning to code. And those are for adults who, once they complete the program, will actually be able to apply for an entry-level coding position. But yeah, a lot of the classes are hands-on and very informative. So the other part of my job is running the STEAM corner, which I mentioned is our library's makerspace. So we have lots of equipment in there. We have 6 sewing machines, an embroidery machine. We have 2 Cricut makers, which are nice. We have a 3D printer, a CNC milling machine, which is engraving machine. It engraves like wood. We have button makers, we have a bookbinding machine, and we have a lot of personal digitizing equipment. The personal digitized equipment, in case you guys are wondering what that is we can take your old VHS tapes and convert them to a digital format or a DVD. And that is actually a service. You would drop them off at the adult services desk. I actually convert them for you, and then we give it back to you in whatever format you want. Same thing with 8mm reels, which are, the small little reels. We can convert those into digital or DVD. We also have a slide converter that you would actually do yourself. You book time on it. I show you how to use it. It's literally loading the little slides and pressing a button. And we have photo scanners, so you can scan your photos and it will make individual digital copies of those. So for the makerspace equipment and software, I do monthly programming to teach people. Usually it involves making a little project with one of the machines. And we also have individual open hours. So if someone wants to embroider something or make something on the Cricut, you can actually book up to 2 hours. You can use our machines. I'm there to help troubleshoot or to kind of guide you. And I will mention that it is completely free. We are very, very fortunate because not a lot of libraries in Connecticut can do this, but we offer our makerspace completely free, and any of our disposable materials like thread, cardstock, things like that we have on hand, you can also use for free. So if you are interested in any of that, I do have a flyer with the open hours and it links to the website for a little more information. I think that's it. Yeah. Yay.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So, you okay?
Yeah.
All right. To say thank you to these 4 ladies is an understatement. I have never, it's amazing. Yeah, so how many people use the library for at least 1 or 2 of the items that were covered? Okay, good. I was hoping. And the look of pride amongst all your faces when you were listening to each other, you've got a real family. So that's nice. And in addition to thanking everyone, does anyone have any questions relative to the presentation that everybody has, Okay, so I'm going to start with you, sir.
Where does the function to get movies transmitted to our TV?
The question was, where does the function of movies get transmitted to your TV at home? That's a good question.
That, the Hoopla, service, we mentioned Hoopla, which does, ebooks and audiobooks. There's also television and movies on Hoopla. I use it myself. And these ladies, and Canopy also. We have a second service called Canopy, which does the criterion collection, a lot of foreign language, and independent films on Canopy. And you basically add that app to whatever TV, like I use a Fire Stick. Some people use other kinds of, we might have a smart TV that you can just add the app, and then you link it to your library card. Our folks can teach you how to do that. It doesn't take very long. It might be the case, for example, with Hoopla, I think it's five a month, that you can watch. There might be some limitation in that way, but we're happy to show you how to do it because again, I'll use myself as an example. I love British TV shows and the Acorn app. Instead of paying for it, I use my Hoopla, and some of those same series are on Hoopla, and I'll watch them that way. We're happy to show you how to do it. It's a brave new world.
Clem, thank you, Brenda. Clem, did you have a question?
To come to the program? Yeah. Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah, people can come to the program. If for some reason we need to limit it to Ridgefield residents only, we will say that on the program. For example, some children's programs, we might limit because the demand is so high. But generally, we like to keep things as open as possible. And if you have any specific questions, please,
So the question was, can family members or friends who may not live in Ridgefield but come to the library with you
yeah.
benefit from the accessible items that you have? The answer is yes, unless the attendance prohibits the number of people.
The state of Connecticut, we are a small state. We have what's called a reciprocal borrowing. So your library card is good at any public library in the state. Likewise, folks from out of town come to use our collection as well. So kind of it's a nice service.
Yes, hi.
I thought your presentation was wonderful. And I
Look at them.
use the library books and getting them from other libraries. You go to universities for books, and I've benefited from that. I have two questions. One is regarding passport. Do you renew passports?
So
Good question.
And Laura and Leslie, who are our trained passport agents, they do have to get trained and certified by the State Department every year, are wonderful. So if we don't have we have the brochure, but we can also confirm that because some of the renewals, you don't actually need the interaction of a passport agent. You can do that yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot of the renewals, if it hasn't expired, there's a certain amount of years. If your passport has expired and it's exceeded, then you can do that by mail.
By mail?
By mail. if you're in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the post office helps with that too. They help me. Yeah. Good. Okay.
On iPad classes, how does one take a class? iPad class.
Kathy?
So those are all online or event calendar. So I do send out an email, which if you're not on the email list, I can get your email and put you on it. I send out a newsletter every month and it just like clicks to register and it's just like registering for them.
Please give you my email address.
Yes, yep, if you want to be added to the email list. You could also always just check the Ridgefield Library event calendar and they're listed on there. You can even filter it. There's a little spot on the side. I'll say technology and STEAM. If you click that, it will only show you technology and STEAM programs.
And we can show you that on the website again, if any of the libraries look at that, and point out exactly to help you find and zero in on what it is you're looking for. Yeah.
Good questions. Does anybody have any questions relative to the presentation that haven't been asked yet? I mean, and you're in the library now. Go upstairs afterwards if you wish. And, oh, I'm sorry, Joe. I looked up right there. Yes.
Just want to say that library, one of the proud jewels of this community is just an outstanding library, and the staff are even better.
Well said.
Everyone.
Yeah.
And in terms of your presentation, I came to the meeting with 4 questions. I never had to ask them because you addressed every single one. And I picked up 3 items that I'm going to share with my wife and someone else that were new information for me. So thank you.
That's awesome. I like that. Yes.
I don't really have a question, it's just that I have a library card for 40 years, and I've never regretted it. As you know, we organized with Mary Ridgefield, it's pretty good, and that's a thriving book group. So I've been founding member of that. We, as Kathy will remember, our mystery group last time had a blast making book bags with little figures on it. We were a whole group. I mean, it was a lot of fun and it was also useful. I've never been turned down. Today I have problems. I went upstairs and it was answered within 5 minutes.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
second him, I recommend that if you don't have a library card, get one.
and I got it on my phone. I did.
Mentioned, as a library director, I am super proud of the folks that we have working here. They do a tremendous job. I think we all have that passion to help. That's the key thing. We can all learn the ins and outs, but it's that, that passion, and we get a lot of pleasure out of helping folks and, giving our all. So we love serving Ridgefield too. It's a great community.
May I ask if, yes, for the next question, but the items that you brought with you, would you be available if people wanted to look at those after? If you have time?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're up there. Okay, good. That's what I wondered. Okay, thank you. Okay,
People work in the library.
that's a good question.
7 days a week, most of the year. We close on a Sunday because it's just a very, very slow day. So it's about 60 hours a week. We have 42 total, but 17 are full-time. And then the other 23 or so are part-time. And that could be, a few hours a week or 20 hours a week, something like that for our part-timers. Yes.
I'm following up on Carmen's question. Are there any volunteer opportunities for the library or the friends of the library where you might have a room full of potential recruits?
That's a great question. And the library itself, most all of what we need to get done needs to be done by the staff. So not necessarily volunteering with the library, but the Friends of the Ridgefield Library, honestly, it's all year long. It could be sorting books. They're a wonderful group. It could be just helping and book sale time. Always looking for volunteers. So if you have that capacity and desire and want to be with a great group of folks, I would definitely let us know, because we shoot people their way all the time. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Scott. That guy in the back asked a great question. And I happen to believe you guys gave it tremendous information for us as seniors. At the same time, I think what he said back there is really important for retirees. Because one of the things I hate the most is when I talk to people of my age, 75, is, oh, I'm retired. No, I can't do that. Well, you can do that. And we need more people, seniors, to kind of, give back. And that's what this guy's saying there, I think.
Absolutely. And it's an interesting topic. So our assistant director, Andy Forsythe, was not able to be here today, but, Pat, very familiar with Patty and Joe working together on a number of things. One of the things she's been working on with the Compassionate Ridgefield folks is to put together a volunteer fair, organizations and volunteers, and making that match. I don't have a date yet, but they've been talking about it, hoping to fall. Because I think there are many people who are looking to give back, to get involved, and many organizations likewise who need that help. The library, even though we are a nonprofit, we have a paid staff. But there are many amazing nonprofits in town, as you know, who are completely volunteer driven. So they need those folks who are willing to help. And I think that connection, that is so important, as you said, and I think Joe and I talked about it many times, right? That you need to be not isolated, to be with people, and volunteering is a great way to do that.
I have,
We're coming to Booker
oh,
program. Could you talk a little bit about the museum pass program?
Of course, yes. And
those are good.
the museum pass is made possible by the generous support of the Friends of the Ridgefield Library because they're not inexpensive. But we are able to buy passes to, I don't even know how many right now we have museums and cultural organizations, primarily museums. Close by, down into the city as well, that
Mhm.
gives free admission or reduced admission. Joe has the museum pass program, but, yeah, so you can link to the museum passes and, when Christie mentioned the Acorn app, that is also a direct link. You check out the museum passes for a few days at a time, so when you know you've got a trip coming up or the weekend, or the grandkids are in town and you want to take them to Science Museum or something, it's a great thing. I really encourage you to use and enjoy them. Because it's just, you know, every few bucks, you're gonna be paying for lunch, so you may as well get free admission. So.
I have a question. So I have a lot of books at home.
Yeah.
And I would absolutely love to donate.
Yeah.
My issue is I can't physically carry. So,
We get lots of requests from folks, maybe they're, you know, they might be downsizing, they might just be, it's time for a little more room on the bookshelves. Whatever the case may be, we will connect you with the Friends volunteers,
okay,
and they often arrange pickups for folks. They'll come and get the books, or,
we supply our own cartons.
you know what?
Or ask the
They-
friends.
Yeah,
Okay.
knowing Chris Nichols, and if any of you know Chris, there's a will and there's a way. She'll figure it out.
Okay,
But,
thank
yeah,
you.
So we will connect people to the Friends.
I'd like to see my bookshelves again, but I've loved collecting all my books.
That-
Believe me.
Hey, it's like,
Yeah.
one comes in, one has to go out or something.
Yeah, okay, good. I would love that.
Yeah.
Does Joe, otherwise known as this guy? What do you- Yeah,
This brochure, so I already took a sneak preview of all the brochures here. What I think is another amazing attribute of this library is that if you can't come to the library, they will come to you.
oh,
They will come to you through hybrid programming, through all sorts of online education tools that also drive to your house, and bring you
Yeah.
books.
That one-
oh, that's amazing.
Called it.
Okay. Yes,
And, the librarians will work with whoever, and it could be a short-term or a long-term homebound situation. And we'll work with whatever that person likes, get you what you want, and they'll get delivered to you and pick back up. So that homebound delivery, that was key. Thank you, Joe. Like, that should have been. That one is really important. And again, it's a work of passion, getting folks what they want.
if you made a list of all the services that you covered, that would be a book in and of itself. It's just amazing. Yeah, it is the website. Anyone else have a question for these ladies, please? Okay, I think that's very exhaustive. I want to thank you. Wow. All of you. I really appreciate it. And again, remember, you're in the library. Does anybody have any questions in general? It's a segment we call What's on Your Mind. You don't have to, but if you do, we'll try to answer them. And if you don't, then we can go right into whoever wishes to remain networking and just talk. Okay. I think you've exhausted the crowd. Good job. Thank you, everyone. Okay, yes.